We have a huge NFC East showdown this Sunday between two teams that didn't expect to both be 3-3, Eagles and Cowboys. And as you may have heard, and if you haven't, here it comes. Eagles head coach Doug Peterson with fascinating comments on the radio yesterday, sure to catch some ears in the Cowboys locker room.
I know the sky's falling outside.
Yes.
You know, it's falling, and I get that, and the fans are reeling just a little bit, but we're going down to Dallas, and our guys are going to be ready to play, and we're going to win that football game. And when we do, we're in first place in the NFC East. We control our own destiny. We're right where we need to be.
We're going to win that football game. That sounds a little bit like a head coach guaranteeing a win during the season. Marcus, you live in Dallas. You played for the Cowboys. Did you take that one to heart?
Well, I didn't particularly take it to heart, but I said the Dallas Cowboys should take it to heart, especially with Doug Peterson coming out and saying that, and they have the identical record.
Yep.
Right? Now, G.
Yeah.
You know me. I love drama.
Yes.
Calm down. Doug Peterson was saying what he was supposed to say about his football team. But if the Cowboys don't use this, right, there's this narrative right now going around Dallas that this team is not responding to a lot of things that the head coach is saying. The energy is not there. We running displays of the players walking off the field, not shaking his hand. There are a lot of issues. Do you rally around what Doug Peterson said? That's a question for the Dallas Cowboys to answer. I know what you would like to do. Not be 3-3 right now.
Here's what I'd like to ask you, because you know the situation so well. Again, for those who don't realize, you played for this team. You played for Jerry Jones. You played when Jason Garrett was there. Is there any circumstance that you can foresee where he could get fired during the season?
Absolutely. Look, the number one indictment on a head coach is winning and losing, obviously, is the elephant, right? We all talk about that, the record, what success are you having? When them damn players stop responding to you, though, that's the writing on the wall.
As you watch, Dan, the Cowboys, to this point, just not being as good as we thought they should be, how much of it is attributable to the head coach?
Well, the great majority of it, right? He's the leader of it. And I think the reality for Jerry Jones is never let your loyalty make you a fool, right? This is a Super Bowl contending roster in every aspect. They're sitting 3-3, which is unacceptable. And Jerry Jones can sit there and go, I love Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett's been a part of our organization for 20 years now, right? And let that make a fool of you as an owner and general manager with a team that is capable in many ways. The biggest thing with Dallas to me when it talks directly to Jason Garrett is this. The first 3 weeks of the season, their offense looked like a 2019 offense. And all of a sudden, it doesn't. There's no RPOs anymore. There's no cool motion anymore. There's no creativity anymore. And to me, that looks like a head coach that potentially has gone to a play caller and said, I'm not liking what we're doing. Stop doing that. I don't know if he's taken over the play calling or hindered some of it. It's a completely different looking offense. This video right there, we talked about it. If you're running off the field and your head coach is there and you don't give him a high five, your actions speak louder than your words.
There's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is not us being on a show trying to give a hot take. I've been in locker rooms where the coach's words falls on deaf ears because we feel like we're sitting in the same exact spot that we've grown accustomed to all the time. Mediocrity has been synonymous with the Cowboys. Now the players are starting to show and vent that frustration, compounded with losing to an 0-4 team with a quarterback that just returned to the field.
It's a lot of trouble. And there's two things that are worthy of reminder here. And I'll give credit to our mutual friend, Will Kane, who said it. The owner, Jerry Jones, is a guy who fired Tom Landry basically the day he got there, couldn't get rid of Jimmy Johnson fast enough, but hangs on to Jason Garrett for dear life for reasons a lot of people find curious. And I will say this, too. Jerry Jones decided to pay Zeke Elliott this year when he didn't have to because there was one thing he believed. This was a Super Bowl or bust season. We will do more of this as we go, but we have to get to what is in the big picture, Al, really the most important story of the morning.
That's right. In the NBA, LeBron James says Daryl Morey was, quote, misinformed and not educated on the situation when he tweeted in support of anti-government protesters in Hong Kong. Morey's tweet ignited a firestorm of controversy that nearly led to the cancellations of the Lakers and Nets preseason games in China. The games were played, but none of the players spoke publicly about the controversy while in China. Last night, before the Lakers' preseason game with the Warriors, LeBron was asked specifically about how the NBA handled the situation.
I'm not here to judge how the league handled the situation. I just think that when you're misinformed or you're not educated about something, and I'm just talking about, the tweet itself, you never know the ramifications that can happen. We all seen what that did. Not only did for our league, but for all of us in America, for people in China as well. And sometimes you have to think through things that you say that may cause harm, not only for yourself, but for the majority of people. And I think that's just a prime example of that. We all talk about this freedom of speech. Yes, we all do have freedom of speech, but at times there are ramifications for the negative that can happen when you're not thinking about others and you're only thinking about yourself. So I don't believe, I don't want to get into a word or sentence feud with Daryl Morey, but I believe he wasn't educated on the situation at hand, and he spoke, and so many people could have been harmed, not only financially but physically, emotionally, spiritually. So just be careful what we tweet and we say and what we do. Even though yes, we do have freedom of speech, but there can be a lot of negative that comes with that too.
Apparently reading the room a little bit, LeBron then went on to clarify his comments on Twitter, saying, "Let me clear up the confusion. I do not believe there was any consideration for the consequences and ramifications of the tweet. I'm not discussing the substance. Others can talk about that." He continued, "My team and this league just went through a difficult week. I think people need to understand what a tweet or statement can do to others, and I believe nobody stopped and considered what would happen. Could have waited a week to send it." We're joined now by NBA Countdown's
PR nightmare.
Right? I mean,
PR nightmare.
So what do you find the most problematic about what LeBron said?
There's a lot of things here, Elle. Number one, I've always known Daryl Morey to be very informed when he speaks. Now, he may not have done all of his due diligence on thinking what the repercussions of the comment was, but when LeBron said it's not helping others, Daryl Morey was sending out that tweet to help others. We went on NBA Countdown. We discussed this thoroughly because my point was, at that time, I advised the players not to say anything. There's nothing that LeBron James can say that will fundamentally change what a communism country is talking about, or what they're doing right now. He's not going to change lives. I understand that he is the social conscious of the NBA here as it relates to the United States. You can speak out on things like systematic oppression, use analogies like this, but you have to be so strategic and so tactical when you speak about this issue as it revolves around international politics. That's what you're dealing with, not just politics between the NBA and China, but a trade war that's happening between our country and their country right now. So you have to be tactical, you have to think through, and this doesn't help any situation at all. He didn't say anything by saying these comments, and he only inflamed the whole situation.
So essentially you feel like he had a word salad and he would have done better, because it feels a little bit like he was pressured into, there's been a lot of calls for someone to speak out. He was the first person that chose to do it.
There's that old saying, less is more. Now, if you want to have a prepared statement where you can thoroughly think through this with your legal team and with your advisors to then maybe write an op-ed article, I understand that. But speaking freely in front of the public, that's not going to do justice.
Well, we are certainly going to do the NBA a little bit justice. We're going to talk actual basketball coming up with Jay Will as well. Still ahead here on Get Up, the Packers beat the Lions last night, but the NFL may end up the biggest losers. Why officiating feels like a problem that the league needs to address immediately. And Baker Mayfield is angry. What the Browns quarterback is heated about, and whether Marcus Spears cares. Is that what you're, no? Okay.
You don't care?